To be great in dentistry, you have to invest in yourself constantly throughout your career. And doing a residency is one step in the right direction. Stay tuned as we talk to a D4, or actually a D3, or actually a D4, depending on what school you go to, that has matched successfully in an advanced education general dentistry program. And we're going to talk to her about how she did it and some tips. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Dr. Darwin, the new dentist coach, with another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin on the New Dentist Podcast Show, where we talk about getting into dental school, surviving dental school, getting into residency, surviving residency, and then life as a new dentist. Be sure that you guys are subscribing by hitting also hitting the bell notifications below, so that you guys don't miss videos that are coming out on a weekly basis. Also, this episode of Ask Dr. Darwin is being brought to you by Dr. Darwin On Demand. Dr. Darwin On Demand, the exclusive new membership community for new dentists. That's pre-dental students, dental students, residents, new grads, less than 5 years, and then also international dentists that are looking and pursuing licensure here in the U.S. It's full of lots of content, lots of pearls on a weekly basis. We have a weekly Q&A session, and we have a monthly mastermind class where you get to learn from experts in the field, both clinically and then also about the business of dentistry as well. For more details, go down below and check out the website. You want to go to thenewdentistcoach.com/on demand. We look forward to seeing you in the network. Today, we're going to be talking with a D4 or D3 or D3/D4 student from the University of the Pacific, who just matched at a dental residency program. So we're going to be talking to her about how she did it and how she prepared and how she put her rank list together and why she chose the program that she got selected at. So today we're joined with student Dr. TERI WHITE. How you doing, Doc?
I'm well. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it's early for you too as well. So it's definitely a good morning. So we thank you so much for waking up a little bit early there on the West Coast. You know, we're on the East Coast. We're going through a little snowstorm outside. I'm looking outside. It's coming. And you guys probably even know what snow is, right?
Only heard of it.
Right. Only seen it on TV.
Right,
That's it.
right. Postcard.
So please introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit more about who you are.
Yeah, so my name is TERI WHITE Mitchell. I'm born and raised in Oakland, California. I went to college at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was a economics major there. I am a non-traditional student in that I found dentistry later in life. But now I am a third year student at the University of Pacific in San Francisco. And as you may know, University of Pacific is the only 3-year dental school program in the States right now. So that's why I'm a D3 technically, but in my final year. So it's the slash D4 situation.
Right. And I still am amazed as to how UOP is able to, tuck in another year within the 3 years.
Yeah.
Like dental school is not hard enough. It's demanding enough. But hey, we're gonna give you another year of material, but not give you another year to do it.
They just fit it right in.
Amazing. So why dentistry for you? Why did you pick dentistry? Because you were an econ major. Like myself, I was you were a non-traditional student. I was an architecture student.
Oh, wow.
So kind of like pivoting from that major into dentistry. Tell us a little bit about that. Why dentistry?
Yeah. So like I said, it's something I discovered later in life after I graduated, and I worked for a few years. And, dentistry just really embodies some of the aspects I appreciate and enjoy in a career in terms of serving others, the opportunity to develop a skill, specialization, opportunity for entrepreneurship, working with my hands, working with people. So those were some of the things that drew me to the field. Then I also shadowed dentists in my church and my own dentist, and I really liked it. Took a couple night classes while I was working to try out science because I didn't take anything in college, and I really liked it. So after that, that's when I decided I wanted to pursue dentistry full time, and I did a post-bac program for 2 years, and that's then I applied, and now I'm here at UOP. So a little bit of a long journey, but
Hey,
worth it. Can't
hey,
imagine being anywhere else.
journey is a journey, right? It's a
Yeah.
process for many of us. So let's dive into it. Let's brush it up a little bit here. So tell us a little bit why you've decided to do a residency after um, graduation. What was
Yeah.
your thought process behind that?
So you, you know the saying that people say dental school is like drinking from a fire hydrant, and me being in a 3-year program, that is even more exasperated. So I really chose to pursue residency to have the opportunity to sit and kind of marinate in the different dimensions of dentistry and get longer time to understand what I like, where my fit is. And, it's also a great opportunity to continue to grow your knowledge, clinical skill set without taking out additional debt. And in California, you can obtain licensure through residency as well. So numerous upsides to doing a residency, but those were some of the reasons for me.
Yeah, I can just imagine, um, with that extra year being um, the fourth year, typical fourth year being kind of condensed into the third year and the
Mhm.
second year. I guess you guys start clinic much
Yeah,
earlier. Was it first year you guys are starting clinic at some
no,
ins?
we start sin clinic the first week of school, but we start seeing patients our second year. hmm
Gotcha, gotcha.
So we
So
still have the full 2 years
right,
seeing patients.
seeing
Yeah.
patients, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
typically and even there's some schools now that are actually starting much earlier in those
Mhm.
clinical experiences, especially schools that kind of have it set up where they have the first, second, third, and fourth years all kind of like in a group or a
Oh,
team
yeah.
concept, and that allows some of the D1s and D2s to be introduced to the
Get
clinic
involved.
a little bit
I guess
earlier.
probably assisting or something like that.
Assisting, treatment plan,
Yeah.
preparations, all of that. But UOP is different. You
Yeah,
guys are
and we have a little bit of
definitely
that.
different.
We do have, well, the first years are encouraged to shadow, but they're pretty busy. So
Yeah, I can
they get
I can
around to it like for fourth quarter.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call UOP 24/7 university, dental
Yeah.
university. Cause cause there's no way y'all sleep. Y'all don't have time to
No.
sleep. Y'all don't sleep. Y'all
Mm-mm.
don't sleep. Um, but that's fine. So residency for those opportunities and enhancing your clinical skills, get a chance to see more about different disciplines within dentistry as well. So that's great. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the programs. Tell us a little bit about the programs that you did some homework on, the number of programs you applied to, and why those programs as well.
Um, yeah, so it was pretty straightforward process for me. I applied to 4 programs. It was a combination of AEGD programs and GPR programs. Um, I am, and I selected them based off proximity to my house. I am married, and so I'm also taking into account my husband and his career. He's in the military, so limited on out of state options. Um, so I applied to UOP. Um, NYU Langone through UCSF. They had another program. NYU had another program in San Francisco that I applied to. And then I applied to one GPR program in VA GPR program in Vallejo. I got interviews at two of them, UOP and the UCSF program, and I I just ranked 1 and 2. Yeah, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you were lucky in the sense that it seems like it really wasn't you didn't have a lot of programs and a lot of interviews to the point
Yeah,
where you had to, you were kind of like scratching your head like, oh my goodness, what this one
what to
here,
do?
this one
Yeah,
there. And for a lot of people, that is part of that process, especially if they're applying to specialty programs. But even the GPR AEGD programs are close to 300 programs all throughout the
yeah,
country.
it's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Tell us a little bit about the interviews. This year has been exceptional and different due to COVID. Everyone doing virtual interviews for the most part.
Yeah.
Some did some
Oh,
in-person ones.
really?
Some programs did in-person ones. Um, probably not as, of course, not as much as they typically do,
Yeah.
but there were some in-person programs that I've heard as well. Tell us about a little bit about the interview day and interview questions. Anything that stood out that was, particular, that was like, that's a good question. You got me on that one. Anything
Mhm.
you remember any of those types of interviews,
Uh,
questions?
yeah. So my first interview was through the NYU UCSF, and that one was pretty straightforward. It was one interview, one on one with the associate director,
Hmm.
and it was about 20 minutes long. And she asked me a few technical scenario questions. So, for instance, if a patient has at what HbA1c level are you concerned and would want a med consult for a patient before starting treatment? Another question was if a patient is taking warfarin, what are some associated concerns you would have? So, and then I asked her a few questions, and that was basically it. Um,
Ooh, right there. I mean that. Ooh, that's a good. I don't think many people expect that during the interview. During the
yeah,
interview.
it did catch me off guard. Those were
Yeah.
like the two questions I didn't expect. And I also, so I will also mention that with that program, I had reached out to them ahead of time to ask if I could do an on-site visit. So that kind of allowed me to create an in-person interview for myself. So I had met her, the staff, we had talked. We knew each other at that point. So that might have been why the interview was a little bit more direct because she kind of knew me. But yeah, those were the two questions that I was just expecting, like, oh, why dentistry? Why our program? But those were a little unexpected. But yeah,
Well,
I
well,
didn't
you
teach
you
everything.
you touched on a point that I think is so important because we get this question all the time from candidates, which is, how do I stand out, right? How do I make my application stand out? More importantly, how do I stand out in front of in front of a
Everyone
program
else.
director, right?
Right.
And I think the fact that your approach, which was to actually contact the program and try to visit, quote unquote, visit, or at least have some type of initial or
Mhm.
preliminary uh, contact with the program prior to you being interviewed. And I'm not sure if you knew that you were going to be interviewed before you requested it, or interview your interview acceptance or invitation came after you did your
Yeah.
visit. Wh-
After, yeah.
It came after.
Well, I yes, it did, and I did the visit before the deadline. So I'm assuming they weren't doing interviews yet.
Right,
Um,
right,
but
right.
yeah,
So for those of you that are listening and watching, this could be another strategy that you could add, especially if you're concerned about how are you going to be different. How do you stand out? maybe requesting site visit, coming to visit the program before the end of the deadline, right? Before the
Yeah.
end of the application deadline. And I will tell you, every program is different,
Yeah.
right? Every program won't say yes. Every program won't say no. It just really depends on, maybe the size of the program, the logistics, whether or not the program director wants to have people there. Because if they say yes to one person, they've got to say yes to everybody and they have to coordinate it. So it just really depends on the program. But that is a great strategy to really try to make yourself stand out and get attention, because I'm telling you, as a former program director, every year around that time, you get stacks and piles and piles of these applications, and they're on the uh, uh, pass. The pass application is standardized, so they all look the same.
Right. Right.
And you really want, like I said before, you really want your application to just pop out.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and sometimes it pops out by you that have doing things that have nothing to do with your application, paper application, but about your communication and your connection
Yeah.
with those that are part of the program. So love that strategy, and I'm so glad to hear that it really helped. I think sounds like it
Mhm.
helped kind of allowing the program to get to know you a little bit better,
Yeah.
so that when it comes to making those selections on match day, they're like, yep, student Dr. Terry White, yep. Remember her? She came to the pro. Yep. We had a good conversation. Yep.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
her. I like her. Yep. We put her down. That's what it
Exactly.
comes down to
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some cases.
Especially in situations, if you don't know anybody. So, just kind of building that networking connections. I reached out to all the programs that I applied to, and they were the only ones that were allowing on-site clinic visits.
Yeah.
But I think even reaching out and trying speaks to a genuine interest in a program and
Yep.
wanting to get in touch with the existing residents, past residents. Hopefully, helps your name jump out a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. So, knowing that that was one of the things that you did that seemed to be successful for you, what are some other tips or advice that you would give graduating dental students as they are getting ready to prepare their applications and also apply for residency? What are some tips? Give us like 3 or 4 tips that you think are important.
well, that definitely was going to be my number one tip. And in terms of preparation, um, I do believe like while we're in school, we're already working hard and doing the best we can. So just continue to be involved and do what you can to be your best self. And I think if you're always like actively working on being your best, you're ready when opportunities present themselves. Residency was not something I had always planned on doing. So I think because I was always just trying to be on top of my game, when I did make that decision, I didn't feel like I needed to scramble to get a lot of things together. I had already established relationship with some faculty, so getting the letters of recommendation was okay. I think mostly it's just figuring out what's important to you and what you're looking for in a program where you see yourself after the residency, where you want to settle, and what type of dentistry you want to do. But I don't know. That was like my main tip.
That's good.
Everything
That's
else, yeah,
good. That
yeah.
works. That works. People need to hear, all of that. So that works. What are some future plans or any projects that you're working on? Any future plans after residency? What have you been thinking about
Um,
doing?
After residency, I'm pretty open. I would like to either do work at a FQHC community clinic, or work as an associate for a few years and eventually open up my own practice or group practice scenario. Um, but I just know I do want to stay here in California. So just building my network and my exposure experience and get a better understanding of what where my fit is. I may want to specialize, I may not. So I'm really just trying to be open to all the options, but those are the main ones I'm considering.
Good, good. Well, that's some good option. That's a good plan. Leaves your options open for, being able to explore different types of work modalities,
Yeah.
whether it's community health, whether it's in a more of a group practice setting, all of those things. So that's good. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you? That may have questions not only about applying to residencies, but maybe have questions about the 3-year UOP dental
Yeah.
school experience.
Yeah, definitely. You can reach out to me via email. My email address is Terry, Teri, one R and I, dot white, like the color, WHITE, dot 2013 at gmail.com.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
And guys, that's down below in the description. You can take a look and contact uh, soon to be Dr. Terry White. And you can have it for any other questions, and connect with her about school, about UOP, but also about her residency process as well. So, hey, Doc, thanks so much for your time, for waking up early on the west side there
Yeah.
to kind of share your experience. Congratulations,
Thank you.
and matching and getting into residency. I know we've got some some connections out there, and both in San Fran and Oakland, Berkeley area. Some friends. I think my uncle and your dad might have gone to school together. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I'm
We're
going to ask him.
yeah. It's a small world back in the early '70s at Meharry back in Nashville. So small world, and this is why it's so important that I think all of us stay connected, and lift each other up and support. And we thank you for your support by sharing your story as well. Guys, check out these next video right here. Hopefully these can will support you too in your journey. And student Dr. White, thanks so much, and congratulations. Continued success, love, peace, and smiles. We'll see you guys on the next video.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.